The New York City billionaire Michael Bloomberg gave a commencement speech to the University of Michigan graduates this week, and he made some comical statements. Now, before I get into that, let me give him a little bit of credit, because he actually said something I do agree with. He spoke about how safe spaces and trigger warnings, all that stuff is stupid, and indeed it's not liberal, and you're just protecting your feelings. And historically, this is not what freedom is about. This isn't what liberty is about. This isn't what liberalism is about. This is just pampered little pricks on college campuses who don't want to hear any countering opinions and want to be coddled. Okay, well, that's childish, and we should call you out for what you are if you do that. Now, I agree with Bloomberg 100% on that, but you have to admit, the optics of it are hilarious because it's coming from a guy who's a fucking reclusive billionaire. So, like, you get out of your fucking safe space. Do you need a trigger warning when you go in public? So it's terrible source that it's coming from, but on that issue, I agree with him and I think he's right. Okay, so that's the first thing. But now let's get to the just preposterous stuff that he said. So he argued the following. In 1928, Republicans promised a chicken in every pot and a car in every backyard. They won control of Congress and the White House, and a year later, instead of a chicken and a car, we got the Great Depression. Okay, let's pause there. What the fuck are you talking about, dude? That's not what brought about the Great Depression. Do you know nothing about politics? Do you know nothing about economics? You know, one of the things that economists across the board agree on, and that's patently obvious at this point, is we had almost no regulation in the Roaring 20s. And when you have no regulations, you're going to have the bankers and the people on Wall Street going nuts, and there was rampant, wild speculation, and there was credit that was far too easy. And as a result of this, we created this giant bubble in the economy, and it burst. And when it burst, everything came crashing down. Okay? So the answer would have been good regulation, you know, to actually make sure that you don't have the so-called smartest guys in the room, they weren't, going nuts and wrecking everything. And then, by the way, we didn't even learn that lesson because the subprime mortgage crisis and the Great Recession largely brought about by lack of regulation. You can thank the 2008 Great Recession for that as well. Or you could thank deregulation for the 2008 Great Recession as well. So he's making it seem like the reason why we had that is because somebody said in a fucking campaign event that there should be a chicken in every pot. It's got nothing to do with it. The problem wasn't free shit. In fact, in the 20s and the teens and the 1900s, the government didn't do anything for the people. For fuck's sake, the New Deal wasn't even created then. The New Deal, was created as a response to the Great Depression. So this idea of you paying taxes and you getting shit back for it in the form of social services, that barely existed in the 1920s, and that barely existed before the Great Depression. That came after as a solution to it. He's blaming the solution and pretending that's the problem. Clueless. He's so fucking clueless. It's amazing. All right, more. He says, today, when a populist candidate promises free college, free healthcare, and a pony, or another candidate promises to make other countries pay for our needs, remember, those who promise you a free lunch will invariably eat you for breakfast. So there he is. He's comparing Donald Trump to Bernie Sanders. And he's saying Trump's claim of making Mexico pay for a wall is equally absurd to Bernie saying we should have health care and education. When I read this story the first time, my blood was boiling. I wanted to fucking find Mike Bloomberg's number and call him up and yell at him for an hour and a half as to why he's so immensely wrong about this. Okay, so Donald Trump building a wall with Mexico's money, they say no. They're like, we're not going to pay for it. We don't know what the fuck you're talking about. He's like, oh, you're going to pay for it. You're going to pay for it. Mexico's going to pay for the wall, and the wall just got 5 feet higher. There, I said it. You're going to pay for it. So when Mexico says, no, that's it. That's the end of the conversation. The only way you're going to make them pay for it is to fucking invade them and start a war with them. You want to do that, Donald? So is that a preposterous thing for him to say? Yes, it's the most preposterous thing you can imagine in politics. It doesn't make any sense at all. There's no legal process to make them do it. You'd have to start a war. Is that what you want? And do you think that's what the American people want? No, no way. Bernie Sanders saying we should have universal health care and universal college. That's only to make us catch up with every modern nation on the planet. Every other modern nation has universal health care. Every one. Many of them have universal college. So this idea that, oh, he wants you to get a pony. He doesn't want you to get a fucking pony, you dumbass. He wants you to get the same shit that everybody else in the modern world gets for their tax money. And this is why I can't stand Mike Bloomberg and his pompous ass. Have you not stopped and thought about this once? Have you not looked at other modern nations and see what they get for their tax money? And have you not stopped to conceptualize what tax money is? Tax money is you're taking your money that you earned and you're paying it to the government, part of a social contract. And then the idea is in a representative democracy, you're supposed to be able to tell them, hey, here's what I want you to spend my money on that I just gave you. Like, what do you want to do? Like, what does he think? He probably agrees with the far right on this, where the far right thinks, okay, we're going to pay you money, pay the government taxes, but I'm just paying you to appease you so you stay away from me. That's like the government is the mafia. Here, take my money and go away, just don't hurt me. Whereas what do Democrats do and progressives and liberals? They say, here's my money, and bitch, you better do X, Y, and Z with my money. I want healthcare, I want infrastructure spending, I want college, I want you to pay for all these different things. That makes sense because I'm giving you money, you got to give me something back. But Mike Bloomberg is so profoundly unreflective and unsophisticated that he just lumps in like, oh, what do you mean? Free college? Free healthcare? Well, that's obviously equal to making a sovereign nation pay for something they don't want to pay for. Not even close. In fact, we already have some of that. We already have fucking Medicare. We already have the VA. We already have Medicaid. That's free healthcare, you idiot. He's like, yeah, that's like giving people a pony. Really? Is that what it's like? It's like giving people a pony? Do we have a program to give away free ponies in the United States that I missed? Well, we do have one to give away free healthcare. He's such a jackass. So look, here's the bottom line, man. You have people like Mike Bloomberg. It's fake centrism. Like he's saying, he's trying to portray himself as above the fray, reasonable, moderate, independent. That's what I am. But you're just an idiot. You're just an idiot. Because he's saying, Trump is so crazy, but Bernie's crazy too. Oh, so I'm above the fray. Look at me. I'm in the middle of the spectrum. Except the spectrum in America is so far to the right that the far right is damn near fascist, and what's called the left is basically center right and pro-establishment and pro-corporate. So you being in the middle of that spectrum just means you're a right-wing prick. That's all that means. And Bernie is like, it's like an episode of the fucking Twilight Zone, because in the context of U.S. politics, it's like Bernie Sanders is the last sane man on the planet, and he's looking at all the other establishment idiots around him like, really? Have you guys lost touch this fucking bad that you don't understand that every other modern nation has these things I'm talking about, and I'm the real centrist? So Mike Bloomberg is a buffoon who thinks he's smart, but in reality, he's an ignorant, know-nothing pontificator and a blowhard.